All right, so before we get to the introduction and talk specifically about the introduction, let's do just a quick wrap up or review of the elements that we have looked at so far. And this is just important so that we can put things in place and not get confused as we move on. So what are the main features of a descriptive essay that we have looked at so far? Well, we learned that the topic of a descriptive essay can be a person, an object, a place, an event, or an experience, or anything else that you may want to describe, right? This is not an exhaustive list. The most important thing about a descriptive essay is that it describes something or a person, and that something may vary, right? May be beyond whatever is in this list. How do we describe it? First of all, we offer a general introduction, and the goals of the introduction are to grab the reader's attention, so there has to be something in the introduction, either through the language or specific sentences aimed at that, and that's what we call the hook. The introduction also presents the topic of the essay, and more important than that, it points to the body paragraphs. How do we do this? Usually we introduce one or two or three elements about the topic that we're going to focus on, because those elements will be detailed in the body paragraphs. Okay? And that leads us to the body paragraphs. We get those elements about the topic, offer details and describe them to help the reader visualize, imagine, get a sense of what it is in as much detail as possible. How do we give details or provide details? We may use adjectives, but we need to be aware of the fact that it's not only through adjectives that we provide description. Sentences are very, very important also in providing detailed descriptions of things. Figurative language also. There's other elements in language that do the same job as adjectives. It could even be an adjective clause. But in this case, it would appear in the form of a sentence, right? Attached to a noun or attached to something you are describing. But it's better to expand this notion of what descriptive language looks like so that we have more tools in our box. And of course, we're going to offer a conclusion that has a reflective tone to it. The conclusion does wrap up whatever it is that we described by providing a restatement or minor repetition of the main elements that were described. But that's not the main job of a description. We can't just stop there. We have to add final thoughts or feelings or attitudes or suggestions that we as writers can think of in order to provide a closing to the essay or to our description. So those are the main features of the essay. So again, to help you out, quick recap. What are the essay parts? We have introduction, the introduction, which introduces a topic and points to body paragraphs. Body paragraphs number 1 and 2, in this case in a 4-paragraph essay, each one of them explores one aspect of the description and provides lots of details. And the conclusion recapitulates the main description, but it's not the main point, and reflects on whatever was described by adding feelings, suggestions, thoughts, etc. So those are the main parts of the essay that we're going to plan. All right, so before we start writing our essay, we're actually going to go ahead and plan it. And for this, we're going to use a planner, or some people may call it a graphic organizer. So why do we use planners? First of all, not only do planners help organize our ideas so that we're not looking for ideas when we're actually writing the essay, thus making the process more streamlined and more fluid, right? But also, planners, they help us start thinking of the language that we're going to need to write the essay. So it's very, very important. This is a habit that good writers have, especially when you start learning a new genre or when you're trying to master a new style of writing. Planners may be very, very useful. And they're actually recommended, and that's how most of us learn how to write. So let's go ahead and see the specific planner for this descriptive essay. All right, so let me introduce you to your descriptive essay planner or organizer. So let's talk about how we use this planner. First of all, planning is not writing yet, which means that in order to use a planner effectively, we don't need to write complete sentences or complete paragraphs. A planner is supposed to be a brainstorming tool, meaning that you're going to answer these questions on the planner by just adding keywords, sometimes short sentences or phrases, whatever it is that you need to help you out with the writing process as soon as you finish using the planner. Okay, so you basically just follow the questions, and you can see that this planner for the descriptive essay has 4 different boxes, which I'm showing you right now. So the big one is the introduction, and we're going to go through the introduction as soon as we finish this overall look at the planner. Of course, the introduction leads to the body paragraphs. So you have a box for body paragraph 2, a box for body paragraph 3, and a box for the conclusion. And all the bullet points or the topics in the boxes, they are there to remind you of what the main elements of that part of the essay is. So by going through each one of them, you're not going to leave anything behind. That's the main job of a planner. And so let's learn how to use it. Let's plan our introduction.